Ready to explore forgotten songs from 1977? Tell us in the comments if you remember any of these. Kiss You All Over by Exile represents a dramatic shift in musical direction.
Kiss you all over.
Originally formed in 1963 as Jimmy Stokely and the Exiles, they spent years playing small venues in Richmond, Kentucky. The band's journey to success was marked by internal conflict, with founding member Jimmy Stokely's increasing substance abuse creating tension that threatened to tear the group apart. This tension reached its peak during the recording of this very song. The track's production process was notably contentious. Producer Mike Chapman initially rejected the song, calling it too country for pop and too pop for country. The band mortgaged their homes and borrowed money from family members to fund additional studio time, believing in the song's potential. Their gamble paid off, with the track topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 4 weeks, though this success led to further strain within the group as they struggled to handle their newfound fame. The song's iconic hand clap pattern wasn't originally planned. During recording, the studio's drum machine malfunctioned, forcing the band to create percussion by hand. They gathered the studio staff, including the janitor, to perform the hand claps, which became one of the song's most memorable elements. Long, Long Way From Home by Foreigner captures the essence of cultural displacement. Founded in 1976 by British guitarist Mick Jones and American vocalist Lou Gramm, Foreigner emerged from New York City's competitive music scene. Jones, fresh from his departure from Spooky Tooth, faced significant criticism from the British press, who accused him of abandoning his roots for American commercial success. This critique particularly stung, as he wrote this song about his own experiences as a British musician trying to make it in America. The recording sessions for their debut album were marked by intense disagreement between band members and producer John Sinclair. Sinclair wanted to emphasize the progressive rock elements, while the band pushed for a harder edge. This conflict reached its peak during the recording of Long, Long Way From Home, with the band ultimately winning the creative battle. The resulting track perfectly balanced commercial appeal with musical integrity, though it received mixed reviews from critics who couldn't decide if it was progressive rock, hard rock, or just pop. The song contains a hidden tribute to the Beatles. If you listen carefully at the 2:17 mark, you can hear a brief guitar riff that mirrors Day Tripper, a deliberate nod to Jones's British roots that went unnoticed for years. Hey friends, please take a moment to share your own stories in the comments. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to catch more forgotten classics. Share this with your friends who appreciate real music. Fool If You Think It's Over by Chris Rea emerged during a pivotal time in British rock.
Fool if you think it's over.
Rea, who was born in Middlesbrough, England, started his musical journey in 1973 while working at his father's ice cream shop. He faced significant resistance from record labels due to his gravelly voice, which executives claimed wasn't commercially viable. In fact, several producers attempted to alter his distinctive sound, leading to heated conflicts in the studio. The song itself, released as Rea's debut single, almost didn't make it to production. The original recording was accidentally erased by a studio intern, forcing Rea to re-record the entire track in just 2 hours. The pressure cooker situation actually helped create the relaxed, smooth sound that made the song stand out. The track peaked at number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100, but received minimal radio play due to a bizarre controversy involving the song's bridge being misinterpreted as containing subliminal messages when played backward. A fascinating detail about this recording, Rea played the signature saxophone part on a keyboard because the session saxophonist failed to show up. He had never played keyboard before that day and learned the part in less than an hour. The necessity of the moment led to the creation of that distinctive sound that many tried to replicate throughout the late 1970s. The Night Was So Young by the Beach Boys captures a unique moment in the band's history.
The night was so young.
By 1977, the Beach Boys were far from their surfer image days, dealing with Brian Wilson's deteriorating mental health and creative differences that threatened to splinter the group. The song, recorded during a particularly tense period, came from the Love You album, a project that divided fans and critics due to its unusual synthetic sound and raw production values. The track emerged from a late-night recording session where Brian Wilson, experiencing one of his more lucid periods, insisted on using primitive synthesizers instead of their traditional instruments. This decision caused a heated argument with Mike Love, who stormed out of the studio. The remaining members continued recording, creating what would become one of their most emotionally honest yet commercially overlooked songs. The stripped-down production style was actually a result of the band's declining budget, as their label had begun to lose faith in their commercial viability. Here's something most people don't know. The distinctive keyboard sound throughout the song came from a broken Moog synthesizer. The malfunction created an unusual warble effect that Brian Wilson loved so much he refused to let engineers fix the instrument. He claimed the imperfection perfectly captured the song's theme of sleepless nights and restless thoughts. Sympathy by Uriah Heep emerged during a tumultuous period for the band.
Sympathy.
Formed in London in 1969, they'd already gone through multiple lineup changes by 1977. The band faced constant criticism from music press, who labeled them poor man's Deep Purple, which led to heated public exchanges with journalists. Lead singer John Lawton, who had recently replaced David Byron, was struggling to win over hardcore fans who saw him as an inferior replacement. The recording sessions for the track were particularly challenging. The band's record label had given them an ultimatum: create a hit or lose their contract. This pressure created intense studio situations, with guitarist Mick Box and keyboardist Ken Hensley repeatedly clashing over the song's direction. The final version we know today was actually the 13th take, recorded at 3 a.m. after a heated argument that nearly ended in a fistfight. The tension seemingly worked in their favor, as the track showcases some of their most passionate performances. A lesser-known fact, the song's signature organ sound was achieved by running the Hammond through a Leslie speaker that was literally falling apart. The speaker's deteriorating condition created a unique warble that became impossible to replicate when they performed live. Engineers tried to recreate the sound for years, but never quite managed it. The Next Big Thing by The Dictators stands as a defiant statement from one of punk's most overlooked bands.
I'm the next big thing. Oh yeah.
Formed in New York City in 1973, The Dictators consistently found themselves in controversy. Their original lead singer, Handsome Dick Manitoba, was known for starting fights with audience members and even other performers. Before recording this song, he had just been released from jail following a notorious incident involving a microphone stand and an unruly fan. The song's production was handled by Sandy Pearlman, known for his work with Blue Oyster Cult, who initially rejected the band as too raw. The recording sessions were chaotic, with band members frequently showing up intoxicated or not showing up at all. The frustration of trying to capture their live energy in the studio led to numerous destroyed instruments, and one memorable incident where they accidentally set fire to a mixing board. Despite these challenges, or perhaps because of them, they managed to create a raw, energetic track that perfectly captured the spirit of early punk. Did you know the track's unusual guitar tone came from a stolen amplifier? Guitarist Ross the Boss Friedman had borrowed it from another band during a shared gig and forgot to return it. Years later, he discovered it had belonged to Johnny Thunders of the New York Dolls. Time to share your thoughts, friends. Drop your stories in the comments below. Hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. If you know someone who lived through this era, share this video. They'll thank you for the memories. Do the Do Casse by A Certain Ratio represents Manchester's evolving music scene.
My heart was just an open door.
The band formed in 1977 during Manchester's post-punk explosion, originally drawing heavy inspiration from Joy Division. The tension between band members was palpable from the start, with original vocalist Simon Topping and bassist Jeremy Kerr competing for creative control. This power struggle intensified when producer Martin Hannett pushed them towards a more funk-influenced sound, causing several heated studio confrontations. The Treks recording was particularly challenging due to Hannett's notorious perfectionism. He made the band record the bass line 47 times, claiming each take was too conventional. The studio sessions often lasted well into the morning hours, fueled by various substances and Hannett's increasingly erratic behavior. The resulting sound, a fusion of punk attitude with funk rhythms, was initially rejected by both punk and funk audiences, leading to several violent confrontations at early performances. Here's an intriguing detail. The distinctive percussion sound throughout the Trek wasn't actually played on drums. The band used stolen metal parts from a construction site near the studio, recording them in the stairwell at 3 a.m. to avoid detection. These improvised instruments later disappeared when the studio cleaner, thinking they were trash, threw them away. Love is Blind by Joe Mama emerges from a fascinating backstory. The band, formed in 1970, consisted of seasoned session musicians who had played with everyone from Carole King to James Taylor. However, internal tensions arose when lead singer Abigail Hannis discovered that other band members were secretly recording sessions with rival artists. This betrayal of trust led to explosive confrontations during the recording of this very track. The song's production history reveals a troubled journey. Producer Lou Adler initially shelved the recording, claiming it was too honest for commercial radio. But the band fought back, even staging a sit-in at the studio until Adler agreed to release it. The track's raw emotional power comes partly from the fact that it was recorded live in one take, during a moment when band relationships were at their breaking point. The original master tape actually captures an argument at the end, which was carefully faded out in the final mix. Few people know that the song's bridge section contains backward masked vocals that, when played in reverse, reveal an entirely different set of lyrics about the band's frustrations with their record label. This hidden message wasn't discovered until years later when a radio DJ accidentally played the song backwards during a technical malfunction. We've journeyed through some remarkable moments in music history. If you've enjoyed these stories, make sure to subscribe and join our community of music lovers who appreciate the depth and complexity of these forgotten classics. Share your own memories in the comments below, and don't forget to like and share this video with friends who understand that good music never goes out of style. Until next time, keep those records spinning and those memories alive.